Because if Hyde can't turn back, then there's no then you have the moral conscience.
That's a good point, man.
You got really excited about that.
You're really stuck.
I haven't seen your eyes light up like that in a long time.
Well, yeah.
Welcome to Classical Etc. Margin Notes, a show about the books we love. You're in the studio with Memoria Press.
Welcome to Margin Notes. Everybody's been saying that they're in a funny mood today, so we'll see where we get. But we are discussing something very unfunny, which is the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Before we get there, Max and I were talking about the format of the show, and we haven't consulted you two about this, but one of the thoughts we had was because our show is abbreviated, and some of these things you could talk about for hours upon hours upon hours, is that we're going to end the episode with the question, what ideas or themes or important points have we skipped? And we're not going to dig into them, but it gives maybe like 2 or 3 things that people can think about at the end of after the show. So if something is not mentioned, circle it, star it, do whatever you got to do on your papers, because we're going to come back to that.
Okay.
I like that. Good idea, Baxter.
Well, it was not my idea.
I think it was.
Oh, thanks, Baxter. Okay. All right. Well, to get into the story, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, is this my turn to do a recap?
Give it to us.
Okay.
Wait,
Yeah.
What?
is it?
I don't think I've
Who did it last week?
I did.
Baxter did? Go for it.
I don't think I've
All right.
done it. Okay. So the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is from the perspective of a lawyer, Mr. Utterson, who has realized that there's this monstrous human being going around doing bad things.
Not monstrous. Well, I mean, I guess kind of.
I mean,
so,
vicious.
I'm sorry.
He's a vicious person. He's not
Yeah.
like
But he's like a little.
small.
he's not like
Yeah.
Frankenstein's monster, but he's
Good guess,
vicious,
Max. Good guess.
right?
I'm here for it.
Okay. So
Apologies.
No.
So basically, and that vicious person ends up being Mr. Hyde. And as the story goes on, it becomes clearer and clearer to him that Mr. Hyde has some connection to his friend Dr. Jekyll, who he's done the will for. And he knows that Dr. Jekyll's will is if anything happens to him or he disappears, all his money goes to Mr. Hyde, which Mr. Utterson thinks that this is a very bad thing, and that Dr. Jekyll is setting himself up to be killed by Mr. Hyde because Mr. Hyde knows that this money is coming to him. He thinks Mr. Hyde will kill Dr. Jekyll. And then as the story goes on, you come to find out that and there's crimes that happen along the way. Like at the very beginning, there's a girl that gets run over and trampled or whatever, but then there's she survives. And then there's a prominent parliamentarian, right? And he's in the parliament.
Mm-hmm.
Gets killed, and a witness knows that it's Mr. Hyde that does it. And as that goes on, and as the story continues, Mr. Utterson realizes that there's some deeper and deeper connection between Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And then in the end, it becomes clear that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are the same person. And he basically takes a chemical concoction that turned him from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde, and he can take it to go back. And Mr. Hyde is basically the unrestrained, sinful side.
The pure evil side.
Of Dr. Jekyll. Yes, at one point he calls him pure evil, right? And Dr. Jekyll is the side where he has tried to contain that.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, Dr. Jekyll isn't as he spends more and more time as Mr. Hyde, it becomes harder and harder for him to turn back into Dr. Jekyll, to the point where even if he has one bad thought, he will just turn into Mr. Hyde. But then at the very end, as he turns into Mr. Hyde and Mr. Utterson is breaking down the door to try to get in and figure out what's going on, Dr. Jekyll has that little bit of control over Mr. Hyde to commit suicide. And because he knows that he doesn't want Mr. Hyde to continue on. And so it ends with the dead body of Mr. Hyde and Mr. Utterson fully understanding the picture of everything that's happened. So that's the short of it.
The
But
rundown.
now, what do we think it's actually about? Now, this is Robert Louis Stevenson. Like, he's an adventure writer, right? Like, this is this is generally in the same genre of Treasure Island and those other adventure stories that he wrote.
Yeah, this didn't sound like. I feel like this doesn't sound like Treasure Island.
No,
I thought that too. Yeah,
it's a different sort of thing, to the point where I think he's really making a case here about some themes that Treasure Island is more of just like a swashbuckling story, right? I mean, there's some lessons to be learned there, but this I think is just chock full of stuff.
Yes.
So, Max,
Agreed.
why don't you start?
All right. I think that this book is about human nature.
Okay, broad, generally not controversial.
The fact that it's about human nature?
Yeah.
No, I think his comments on human nature are interesting, and yeah, we'll get there.
Okay, all right, that's fine. All right.
Baxter, you want to go?
yeah. I mean, I think it's about the duality of man. I think that's a pretty low level.
So we're very similar to.
I was going to say I didn't want to take that because I knew he was going to say that, but I think those two are kind of
they go
connected.
Hand in hand. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, Luke.
I think mine is in the same conversation as well, but I would say it's about the addictive qualities of sin.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh. Yeah, that's what I would say.
I'm going to say the addictiveness of sin. Okay. And I'm going to throw out
Oh boy.
the keeping in the theme of Frankenstein, that too much knowledge is not necessarily a good thing, could be a bad thing, that there is something in here that is critical of modern science.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, but I'm much more fascinated actually by the ethical problems. Okay. So Max and Baxter, the duality of man, human nature. There's a lot to be said about that, right?
There is a lot.
And so what's being said in detail and how, let's talk about that, because there's lots of comments in archive. I'm looking on page 7. It wasn't like a man, right? Like talking about Mr. Hyde. There's definitely a depiction of this person that is deformed. Nobody likes looking at him, but a lot of people can't nail it down. They're like, there's just something wrong here. Mm-hmm. Is that where you're getting some of your ideas from?
A little bit, yeah. I think I was going to ask about this later, but I think that kind of ties to like a theme of like the appearance reflects reality of like their soul.
Yeah.
The soul
which
is
I'm
another
sure Luke
thing.
was on that. That's something Luke would love to.
Well, no, not necessarily.
On,
it talks a lot about how, at least from Dr. Jekyll's perspective, the body is the outward showing of the soul. Like the way your soul is how your body will look.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he actually, like when he first does the experiment, I don't think he realizes that it's going to change his exterior, right? Mm-hmm. And when he realizes it changes the exterior, that's when he gets a mirror brought in, because he's like, I need to know basically what I look like, what people are able to see about me.
Yeah.
Is that true? Oh, sorry. I mean, I'm jumping to the third question.
True?
That appearance.
Do appearances reflect the interior reality?
Ooh, I don't know. Sorry, I'm supposed to talk in the mic.
I mean, in a way, yes. Like, surely, because how you act will affect how you look. But I also think that if you're overindulgent in, like, that will obviously affect you.
Okay. Well, I was also thinking, like, if you're constantly sneering at other people, like your face ends up eventually taking that
like smile
permanent
lines.
Sneer, right?
Like people get like smile lines.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And you can see that, like your face looks at that because you're generally smiling, right? So I can see some of that. Okay. But is that always the case?
Well, I also think that he kind of disregards the body a little too much. Like he talks about tearing past the body and looking on the inside.
Oh, Jekyll does?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys would agree with that, but I think, I don't know if that is what you're kind of talking about.
It's an interesting point that it would then be that the appearance is sort of outside of Jekyll's control. But wait, what's like his initial attempt? What's he trying to do? Like, why does he make the potion? It's I started reading ahead, and you all know this, so that I had. It's been longer since I've read this since you guys have, but I don't remember what specifically he's attempting to do.
He,
I think. I've got it somewhere here.
Yeah, I think. Well, and we discussed this yesterday a little bit. Essentially, what he wants to do is separate the good and, he says good and ill, which compound man's dual nature. So he's addressing that he has both feelings of, he wants to be good and happy, and he also wants to be, what he says, free to do evil. And I think he's trying to separate those so he can have one part of him that's all good and one part of him that is free to do evil without conscience. Is that right?
That's what I got. I think he feels these two clashing within him.
Yeah.
And he wants to be able to have both sides unfettered by the other. Like, he wants to be able to do evil and not be marred by the consequence of conscience. And he wants to be able to do good, completely good, without it being tainted by his evil nature. Yeah.
I think you're right, because he says, I managed to compound a drug by which these powers, meaning the powers where he was controlling these baser instincts, that those powers should be dethroned from their supremacy and a second form and countenance substituted, none the less natural to me because they were the expression and bore the stamp of my lower elements in my soul. So he is trying to dethrone his moral control, and substitute a different form.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think he wants to indulge in both without the.
Yes.
Also, he wants to indulge in both without the effect of the other.
That's a thing that's interesting is he does want to be evil.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reason he tries to separate, is so he can be evil.
He says without remorse.
Right? Yeah, without remorse.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Because
he thinks being good is exhausting. Like, it's hard to be good and happy, and he just wants to be free to do evil and not have to worry about how it affects him.
You got it, Luke.
Well, I don't know if I was going to say what you were going to say, but I was just going to say, when he first starts doing this, taking the potion, it talks about how he just keeps running back to it. Like, he kind of can't get enough of it.
Yes. Because he's on like a high of being able to feed those baser instincts without any remorse. Yeah. I mean, the chapter that's Henry Jekyll's full statement of the case. I mean,
the last chapter.
That beginning of that chapter is very interesting, because he said that he had this certain impatient gaiety of disposition, but he said he found it hard to reconcile that.
With he wants to carry his head high or something.
Yes, he wants to carry his head high, and so because of that, he conceals his pleasures. And then he's committed to a profound duplicity of life because he has this high position in society, which is an interesting comment about society, I think, right? Particularly a Victorian society, but that is what drives him to try to separate the two, because he says, right, both sides of me were in dead earnest. And man's dual nature. Now, you use the word duality of man. Does man have a dual nature?
Let's get into this. I have a lot of thoughts about this.
Ooh.
You go first.
I think so. I mean, now we're getting into metaphysics.
Everything comes back to metaphysics.
I don't know.
It is the science of being qua being. So yes, it does. Okay, sorry.
When I say nature, I think like I didn't mean like in a broad like nature maybe.
Maybe you're saying two aspects.
Maybe impulse would be a better
okay.
word.
I do like that.
Man has good and bad.
Good
impulse,
distinction.
which is not a very profound thing to say
Because it's common experience.
Because
right?
it's a common experience.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But if Max wants to get into the metaphysics of it, let's do it.
No, I think so. Yes, I would say I would feel comfortable saying there is a duality of impulse. We tend towards both good and bad, but I think because Dr. Jekyll is trying to separate the two parts of his nature. He says there's a duplicity there. There's a dual nature. He says good and ill divide and compound man's dual nature. So that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to separate his two natures, and he fails to do that because he separates himself into a pure evil side and a side that is both good and evil. He never gets all good. I think it says, I don't want to spend too long looking for this, but
yeah, he does say that.
He says the regular side, or the side that there's Mr. Hyde. Jekyll is just regular old Jekyll before the transformation. So when he's Dr. Jekyll, he's still the same person.
And Hyde is pure evil.
Hyde is pure evil. So I think the fact that he fails to separate completely good and completely evil shows that there is no dual nature of man. Our nature is both good and evil.
This is interesting.
Oh.
That's a very interesting point, and I think it's interesting too that he, that the evil person, right, Hyde, he's only as he gets fed, right, like as he's allowed to go out and do something. Right, he gets stronger, but it's also it is very much what we were talking about before, that the fact that he is not constrained because he knows he can disappear, and so therefore there's no conscience, and that is what gives him the freedom to do it. And so when you're bifurcating the individual, the fact that he is pure evil, but that it's not just that he's pure evil, but he's pure evil with no worry about consequences.
Right.
Like,
Baxter doesn't like it.
I ran into this question earlier. How does he make Hyde completely evil if evil is a privation?
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah. He did ask that earlier.
Oh. And how does Hyde, right. I mean, the same question, like how does Hyde exist purely evil? And how do you pull the evil out if it's lack of virtue?
Well, I really wanted it to be I kept telling Max as I reread this last chapter, and I was like, I think I have a theory, but I don't know. And I was looking for evidence for it. Because it talks about how the drug is not evil in itself. It just takes what man has and just separates it. Like it doesn't make something more evil or make something more good. So I was thinking that no matter how much Dr. Jekyll doesn't want Mr. Hyde to exist, like Dr. Jekyll is still Mr. Hyde. Like everything that Mr. Hyde does is still
the same person.
Yeah.
Like the two of them can never be in the same room at the same time, right?
Yep.
Because they are the same person.
Yeah, but he starts treating Mr. Hyde as a different person towards the end.
Yes.
But it's just him. So I was to Baxter's point about how can we separate this and tie this back together. How can we make something that's purely evil? I was looking for something that would show that Mr. Hyde maybe isn't completely evil, and it's just Dr. Jekyll convincing himself that he's as some other person, so he can go off and do what he wants to do.
So did you find evidence for that?
I really wanted to. I don't think I ever did because.
Okay, so I actually, when Baxter brought this up, that my mind went straight to that.
Okay.
That he's not fully evil, but it's the fact that there's a new face allows freedom. And he says, it's still in that last chapter, I think, which is the full statement of Henry Jekyll or whatever that is, whatever the name of it is, Henry Jekyll's full statement of the case. It says, this is on our copy, page 83. Henry Jekyll stood at times aghast before the acts of Edward Hyde, but the situation was apart from ordinary laws and insidiously relaxed the grasp of conscience. It was Hyde, after all, and Hyde alone that was guilty. Jekyll was no worse. He woke again to his good qualities, seemingly unimpaired. He would even make haste where it was possible to undo the evil done by Hyde, and thus his conscience slumbered. And I thought that comment was really interesting, that because it was apart from ordinary laws, it insidiously relaxed the grasp of conscience. And that, like, Hyde in some ways still has a conscience. I mean, I'm just kind of inferring that.
Mm-hmm.
But because there's no law that applies to him, then he's got complete freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this story doesn't work if the face doesn't change because of that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. So, okay, but that, to answer Baxter's question, would you say that Hyde is not all evil? That he still has that little bit of Mr. Hyde in him?
I mean, Dr. Jekyll.
Yep, sorry.
Or just like the good of like being a creation.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting is that at the beginning, Hyde's not like, he's not abominably, like, people are like, there's something weird about this dude. And sure, like, he's selfish to the point where he knocks down a child, but he's not going to like beat her to death.
Mm-hmm.
He gets worse.
He gets worse. Yes.
Oh.
But the very fact that he gets worse means that he didn't start pure evil.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. And
he's working towards it.
And in that same paragraph, at the beginning of the paragraph I was just reading, he says, in the hands of Edward Hyde, they soon began to turn toward the monstrous. When I would come back from these excursions, I was often plunged into a kind of wonder at my vicarious depravity. This familiar that I called out of my own soul and sent forth alone to do his good pleasure was being inherently malign and villainous, his every act and thought centered on self. So yes, I mean, he's a very selfish creature, but I do think because he gets worse, you can't say from the get-go he was pure evil.
Which I think again speaks to Dr. Jekyll's failing to completely separate the two good and evil parts of a nature. Because, he doesn't succeed. He doesn't make it pure
and we
good
find
and pure
out
evil.
that the powder that he was using was actually an impure powder and not a pure one. Like, right? Like, it only worked because there was some impurity in it. So therefore, you would assume that the experiment actually he didn't get all the way.
So sorry, I keep making that up. So Mr. Hyde then, because Mr. Hyde takes such pleasure in this, does that mean that Dr. Jekyll, I guess humans are delighted by evil. Like, obviously, Mr. Hyde delights in this. Like, when he goes and kills Mr. Carew, he's like, I needed to get that out, and he like enjoys it.
Yes.
And then Dr. Jekyll is, when he transforms back, he's horrified by what he's done. But if we're saying this is really the same person and that nothing has really changed except that he's free to do what he wants, I mean, I think it's terrifying that he's delighting so much in this.
Well, I think it speaks to the fact that Dr. Jekyll does want to do these things. Like, these aren't things that only Mr. Hyde wants to do. It's just Mr. Hyde can do them without conscience. And because Dr. Jekyll, the reason he does the whole thing is so he can do this stuff. So he still wants to do it.
That's true.
Yeah, I think you're right. But when he realizes, because what is it? It's page 82, and this gets us actually to the idea of addictiveness of sin. He says that my new power tempted me until I fell in slavery. Right? Like, he has this idea, it would be nice to just not have this responsibility. And I mean, maybe not to be too individual, but I remember, being a kid and thinking, well, it'd be really nice if I didn't have to follow these rules that my parents gave me, right? Like, I mean, I guess everybody has those thoughts. And,
That's true.
And that's really like what he feels, but then because he's able to change his countenance, and then he realizes that as soon as he's able to do that, falls into slavery. And I do think this happens, I mean, to humans generally speaking, where once they start rejecting the rules, they don't realize that those rules were actually for their freedom. It kept them to a point of being free.
Like Chesterton. Like
Go
what
ahead,
Chesterton
Baxter.
said in orthodoxy in the class that you taught us. Did you teach us Chesterton?
I taught half of you,
Taught
Chesterton.
us too, Chesterton.
Not me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, he said like the image of on the mountaintop or by a cliff or whatever. And then like the rules are like a wall that keeps you from falling off the cliff.
fence.
Yeah.
It's the yeah. And I think that's a lot of what's going on here is once you take that away, then you become enslaved. And then there's that moment where, right, there's like a 3-month period where I think after Carew gets killed, then there's a 3-month period where Jekyll's coming out and he's being friendly and he's having dinners again and then it says that that his devil had been long caged, and when he came out roaring. That he was more unbridled, more furious, had a more furious propensity to ill. Like that's wild to think about. And I don't know how I feel about that. Yes, people who reject some kind of vice in their life and they hold it together for a certain amount of time, if they decide to go back to it, it's like been pent up, right? But the only way to actually stop doing that vicious thing is just to stop doing it.
Right.
And it's just really hard,
I thought that was interesting too. Yeah.
human reality that we just, to fight vice, you literally just have to be virtuous.
Yeah.
And
Easier said than done.
yeah, but like the moment that you're like, hey, I've been doing real good about this for a month or two or whatever it is. And then, if you decide to give in, then you're like, oh no, now I'm worse than I was at the beginning.
Yeah, and Stevenson shows that there's one morning when Jekyll goes to bed as Jekyll and he wakes up as Hyde, and that kind of shows how his nature is slowly tipping more and more evil as he indulges more and more in this.
It's easier to become Mr. Hyde.
Exactly.
He doesn't even realize it. There's a point where he will just transform and he doesn't even realize it.
Yeah. But to be fair, right, like Jekyll went really far. Like he had his own apartment for Mr. Hyde. He went and hired a particular like housekeeper that he knew was not a good person. Like he really worked to set this up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it doesn't just happen. This is all
He
his
wants
fault.
it. Dr. Jekyll, the good guy, wants it.
Yeah. Does anybody feel bad for Dr. Jekyll?
Nope.
No. No.
These two over here feeling bad for
I don't know.
Frankenstein's monster, and now they don't.
Let's not go there. But
Interesting.
Dr. Jekyll, he instigates, like he finds a way to, it's a loophole in
And he
order to sin.
facilitates it, too.
Like he's trying to search for a way to get away with stuff. Like that's what prompts him to do the whole thing, which is just wrong.
He's trying to thwart reality.
Yeah.
Or like natural order. And he like, it's a sad that he died.
Right.
But but like that's what happens.
But what's interesting, right, is that he could have just said, I'm sacrificing my standing, right? I'm going to take all my money and I'm going to just go
Party hardy.
party. Is that a phrase? Party hardy?
I think it is, but no one else ever says it, so maybe it's just me.
Okay.
Let's keep rolling with that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. So he could have decided to do that, but he doesn't want to lose his standing.
He wants both.
He wants
and you
both.
can't have both.
And that's right. That's the avarice, right? He could have just been like, I'm going to be the bum on the street that ends up in jail because I'm like hurting people, but I've got the money to do it and I'm going to have fun while I do it. But he thinks he can do that and still have his social standing.
Well, he also sees that it's literally ruining him.
Once he's into it.
Yeah. I mean, he detests Mr. Hyde,
Yeah.
but he can't help but keep going back to it.
Yeah.
It's an addiction, like you said.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting that it starts with pride in a way. He says like, I won't sacrifice my standing.
Yeah.
And Frankenstein was also in some way arrogance.
Oh, absolutely. Wait, so you just said it's an addiction.
Yeah.
But Luke had said we're talking about the addictiveness of sin. Is sin an addiction? And if it's an addiction, does that lower the moral culpability? And does this story say anything about any of that?
Okay, it's too many questions.
All right. Yeah, Max.
You want to take that?
You got that's all you, man.
Okay. In the context of the story, we would agree that he's becoming more and more addicted to being Mr. Hyde.
Yes, he's addicted to the freedom of evil without consequence.
Okay. Is that evil or indulging those vices is sinful?
Yes.
And so we could speak about an addiction to sin.
Yeah.
Here's one.
Go ahead. No.
Okay. This is one thing we've talked about for years is no one does evil for the sake of evil.
Yeah, we did talk about that. But we think it's constellation philosophy.
Right. And I mean, I think that's true, that the reason Jekyll's doing these things is because he gets sort of like a hit. Like he thinks it feels good, which is why he's doing evil. I mean, no one just up and does evil just because it's evil.
Okay.
So the feeling that he gets from his sin is a good feeling, which is why he wants to preserve that. So he is addicted to, I guess, the feeling he gets from sinning.
Okay. So
yeah, I think sin is, I mean, it's a drug because you're choosing it because it feels good. You're not choosing it for itself.
So I think a very valid question in today's day and age is, if you're addicted to it, does that mean, does that have any ramification on your moral culpability for that thing?
I mean,
Well,
go ahead.
I mean, he knows he sees that it's ruining him, and he knows that it's not good that he's doing this, but he still chooses it anyways. And just because of how easy it is for him to choose it does not affect. I don't think it affects your culpability.
I think you're still to blame.
I agree.
No matter how easy it is to.
Right. And what's very interesting is the very end, right, where he, as Mr. Hyde, let me think about this. As Mr. Hyde writes a letter, right, to Mr. Utterson. Is that right?
I thought it was he's writing the letter as Dr. Jekyll in Hyde's handwriting. Is that correct?
No. I think it's Hyde, and he's trying to write it in Jekyll's handwriting because he can't turn back to Jekyll. And he needs to get the potion to turn back to Jekyll, but he can't. There was something about that, right? That he couldn't.
Oh, he needs the ingredients because he ran out or something.
That's
Is that
his doctor friend, not to Utterson.
To Dr. Lanyon.
To Dr. Lanyon.
Oh, that's right.
I don't think that was, because that's what I was looking for when I was trying to see. Well, okay, no, maybe it is Hyde.
Like Hyde wants to go back.
Yeah.
Like he wants to be good.
No, I don't think that. I think he wants to be good only because it protects it.
Yes,
he's just looking for the
because he's
protection.
afraid. He's afraid of getting thrown in jail.
Yeah.
And so that's why, because everybody knows that he killed the parliamentarian.
Yes.
And so but my point being is that I think Jekyll in Hyde's form, or maybe Jekyll in Jekyll's form, comes up with this idea, but then he executes it as Hyde in order to get Utterson to break down the door, right? And so he's sending these letters and then intending just that he would get what he needed at a certain time in order to turn back to Jekyll. And it was his last ditch effort. And the very fact that he's then able to kill himself as Hyde, like, it's showing that he still has some control.
Hyde doesn't kill himself. Jekyll kills himself. I'm almost certain of that.
Wait,
because
when they will go in the room, when Poole and Utterson break
in the room,
into
they
the
say
room,
it's Hyde.
Hyde is laying on the ground.
They're like,
true?
we have to find
Yes.
your master.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then
Talking to the butler.
I
or
had
the
a
servant.
whole thing. Well, I won't necessarily go there.
Let's see, hold on.
Well, okay, I will. My whole
Yeah,
problem
go
was I thought, I don't know, this might be poor reading, but I thought that Jekyll killed himself so he could be rid of Hyde, right? And I thought that was a horrible ending because that would be good being defeated by evil. Evil ultimately defeats good. I thought it would be such a better ending if Hyde killed Jekyll, because that would show that evil defeats itself.
Hyde
that make sense?
Hyde kills himself.
Hyde
Okay.
Kills Jekyll.
Okay,
Well,
then
he's at least in Hyde 4.
What page are you on?
63. Poole says Hyde is gone to his account because they walk in and Hyde's body is on the ground, like twitching, I think. It's like it had just happened.
And the voice they
And-
hear in there isn't Jekyll's.
Right, and the voice they hear in there
It's
isn't
Hyde's.
Jekyll's. And he says Hyde has gone to his account and it only remains for us to find the body of your master. So Poole still doesn't know that it's the same. Well, I guess Utterson doesn't know either yet because
Right.
they find the letter on the desk or it's in his hand that tells them that it's the same person.
Well, and I think in Jekyll's final testament, or the narrative of the last chapter, he talks about the fact that when he was writing those letters, he was afraid that he would turn into Hyde at the moment and Hyde would destroy it or something like that. So I think he actually does he writes it as Jekyll, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing, is this final letter is written as Jekyll, right? This whole thing. And
he dies
in the letter,
as Hyde.
Hold on,
right?
But in the letter it says, half an hour from now, when I shall again and forever re-undo that hated personality. Well, hold on. Here then I lay down the pen and proceed to seal up my confession. I bring the life of that unhappy Henry Jekyll to an end. I think that Henry Jekyll kills himself.
I think he's saying I'm losing Jekyll forever.
Yeah, because he says he's about to turn back into Hyde.
But why would Hyde kill himself?
And he can't make the potion again because he can't get like he doesn't know what the impurity was.
Yeah, because, I mean, go. This is the very last page, like 5th line. Half an hour from now, when I shall again and forever re-undo that hated personality. So he knows he has no, he's going to turn into Hyde and with no way back. And then later on, he says, will Hyde die upon the scaffold, or will he find courage to release himself at the moment? God knows I am careless. This is my true hour of death. And meaning, when he turns into Hyde, that's when Jekyll dies. And then he says, and what is to follow concerns another than myself. It doesn't concern Jekyll. And so that's when he says, I bring that the life of that unhappy Henry Jekyll to an end, is saying, I'm turning into Hyde. And the fact that Hyde does commit suicide, now
and that shows
that's a selfish act, right? Because,
I think that shows that he's not entirely evil.
No, it doesn't. It's a completely selfish act, because it says, on page 63, very top of the page, right when they find him, they've got a crushed file in the hand and strong smell of kernels that hung upon the air. Utterson knew that he was looking on the body of a self-destroyer, right? Like that very perspective of suicide, like he's destroying himself. Why? Because his two options are scaffold or suicide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and he doesn't want the scaffold.
And also because if Jekyll's if Jekyll's is dying when he turns into Hyde for the last time, then Hyde doesn't have.
He has no good influence.
He also has no freedom. Because Hyde is reliable on, or he relies on Jekyll in order to be free to his sin.
Yes.
Because if Hyde can't turn back, then there's no, then you have the moral conscience.
That's a good point, man.
You got really excited about that.
You're really stuck.
I haven't seen your eyes light up like that in a long time.
Well, yeah. We're Carter Max. Come up with those sort of ideas. And I think what's interesting is the guy's name is Hyde, right?
Well, he says, Mr. Utter, you mean like H-I-D?
Yeah.
Mr. Utterson says, if he is Mr. Hyde, then I will be Mr. Seek.
Which I thought was
earlier in the book. I love that
part too.
Guys.
That was
because
so
he's
clever.
trying to find him.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure out who this Mr. Hyde guy is.
Yeah.
And he says, if he is Mr. Hyde, then I will be Mr. Seek.
Yes, you're right. He does it, but it's also like it's the whole flip thing, right? Because at the beginning, it's Jekyll hiding his moral turpitude from the world, right? Mm-hmm. But then at the very end, Hyde has to kill himself because he has nowhere to hide.
And
so maybe that was intentional.
Maybe. Yeah. What you got, Luke?
Well, I was just going to then, I think it's a good ending because it shows that evil is completely self-destroying. Like evil just ruins itself, which, I mean, I think that's kind of obvious, but it shows it in the story. In
a some sort of tangible way.
Mm-hmm.
My main idea was critical modern science. Obviously, I thought it was what you guys were talking about, but I had to come up with something.
Fair enough.
But I will say that I'm often
wrong. What? Just kidding.
Yes, I am often
about
wrong,
the fish.
Max. But
that's right.
no, fish do not know that they exist.
Let's not go there.
Oh my gosh.
But
different episode.
Yes, sorry, folks. That's a inside comment from when I was their teacher.
We explained it last week.
I think we probably did.
Sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to derail.
It's the trope. It's going to be the trope of our show.
Yeah.
Is do fish know that they exist?
I think we should let the people decide.
The people will agree with me.
Put up a poll. Does fish know that they exist? No, but I do think it's very interesting to me that a lot of the stories in the early 1900s come out where, because there is this promise to modern science, right, that we can figure everything out. And it's interesting to me that I think even with Frankenstein, with this book, it keeps being brought out that there's in a similar way of like the dwarves with the Balrog, right? Like if you dig too far, you're gonna wake something up that's not good. And I think that's a very interesting thing to think about with regards to this text, because he absolutely awakens something that's very bad.
So would you say that like maybe your thesis is pursuing knowledge for its own sake is the wrong pursuit?
No. So knowledge for its own sake is
okay. For maybe I need to rephrase that. Pursuing knowledge for.
Well, I think it shows that knowledge is dangerous, at least, because I mean, even going back to like Oedipus, it's the knowledge that destroys him.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
And
yeah,
I've thought about that a little bit, and I don't really have an answer to it, because obviously knowledge is a good in of itself. And how can a good destroy you?
Well, and I think that has to do with the hierarchy that's in nature, right? And that there are certain things, because we've been given by God a rationality, an ability to reason, an ability to know things. But it's our very first wrong move in the garden, right? That we want to know good and evil like God, and we weren't supposed to, right? And that's what leads us to where we are. And I think that's these stories kind of keep playing with that of like, it's good for us to know, but it's that is that innate human thirst to want to be like God, which some of that resides in just what our knowledge is, for us to know those things. And not that we shouldn't pursue knowledge, but we should always be aware of, is this knowledge that I ought to know, or is it something that is fundamentally not good for man to know? That's the same question of Frankenstein, right? If you can animate something that's dead, is that something that is good for man to know, or is it not? And, I mean, it's the same thing with the nuclear bomb, right? Like we figured out how to split the atom, but what did it do? It created tons of destruction. Now it can be harnessed for good, right? But the question is, should all of us know how to make a nuclear bomb? Right.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
I have a hard time with that question. I mean, like, I agree there's like, you can go too far, like you can dig too deep, but I'm always like, how do you know? Like when they were making the bomb, like how do you know? Like this is something we shouldn't touch. Or like when Frankenstein or Victor was building, Frankenstein was building the monster. I was like y'all, I mean, like I do think it was like the monster was evil, but like I don't think if it had been me and I'd been capable of doing that, I would have been like, no, like that's ridiculous.
This is
like,
one thing I wanted to
ask.
let's try it.
it.
Is the problem with, this pursuit of knowledge that you're talking about, the dangerous pursuit of knowledge, is the problem the fact that you get the knowledge or what you do with it? Because if Dr. Jekyll figures it out and then doesn't act on it, is that wrong?
Well, I think there's two things there. One is that for him to figure it out and not act on it would probably be a virtuous act, right? So there's the virtue of his individual choice, but then there's your responsibility to the community, right? And what we talked about with Fidelity, we talked about with Frankenstein, right? Like if he had gone around and told people, right, individually, he probably wouldn't have made this decision, right? If he had said, I have these predilections, I want to actually figure out how to separate my evil side from my good side, and his buddies would have been like, that's an awful idea, dude.
Would they have been though? If Max had come to me, who's like, I made this great discovery, I can separate my good side from evil side, I'd be like, let's try it.
Well,
like,
then you're I appreciate the affirmation.
Please go to somebody older and wiser, not to Baxter.
Baxter is a great reference.
I mean, older and wiser. He needs about 30 years to actually have some
I trust him to make a good decision.
Thank you.
100% of the time.
That means a lot. I trust you to make a good decision,
Thanks. Max. Luke, you too.
Thanks, man.
You too, Luke. Anyway.
I don't trust any of you all to make good decisions.
That's fine. But
this is why you don't go to someone older and wiser. I'm just kidding.
But really, there is that, like, for me at least, and I think maybe Max at least relates to this, is like, they're like, I just can't see you get, like, it all feels like in the name of discovery until the monster starts murdering people. I mean, I think he should have stayed and, like, not left the monster for 2 years.
Well, and the whole acting on it
feels
thing.
like where he built it to, like, part him out for people who, like, didn't he? I mean, he built it to, like, be a medical asset.
You're basically saying that Jekyll could have come up with this concoction, like fed it to a rat and then watched how they acted and then known whether it worked or not.
Well, not
I don't
really.
think the knowledge itself is the bad thing
right now. Well, I'm talking about even doing it. I think you have to do it to, like,
oh my gosh.
know you can do it.
Oh,
I don't think you can. I don't think
Didn't
you
you
can
agree that we
theorize that you can
shouldn't have-
invent life. Like, I don't think he could have been like, I'm pretty sure I did the math right.
But he could have he could have animated like a teddy bear. If we're talking
Then that'd be
Frankenstein,
really
right?
creepy.
Jekyll could have separated
I don't think he could have animated a teddy bear.
well, yeah,
What,
that's what-
Frankenstein?
Frankenstein, I mean, yeah.
Oh, I mean,
mean,
fine. Like
I think you have to do the thing to know you can do it. And, like, unfortunately, I think
then
that
if it
led to
works,
evil.
then he's gonna, because the teddy bear's not gonna do evil. It's a teddy bear, and like, because a teddy bear doesn't have evil desires.
teddy bear's
so
not even
then
like-
you have to try it on the person, and then you're like, oh crap.
This was a bad thing. Let's stop that.
Well, then you have to kill the
Okay,
monster, and I
keep
don't
trying
like
to
that.
bring this back to Jekyll
Oh
instead
yeah,
of Frankenstein.
sorry. Okay, wrong book.
But it's the same point, right? Like at some point when we're pursuing knowledge, we're pursuing a discovery, like, yeah, you're going to try that, like, on a human being, probably, right? But my point is that if you have a solid anthropology, if you actually have a metaphysics that's in line with reality, then you're going to say, oh, that doesn't, like, that thing won't have a nature, or that will, in Jekyll and Hyde's case, right? Like, if I have a pure evil thing, that's really bad for everybody around me.
But I think you could be like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but, like, you could, like, see it and be like, all right, let's create a pure evil thing, and let's not leave it for 2 years and let it roam the countryside.
Okay, hold on.
But, like,
But
I mean,
why
You're not defending creating something that's pure evil,
don't
right?
know.
If you know
I
it's
mean-
pure evil, then you definitely shouldn't create
I'm
it.
hypothesizing right now. This isn't like I'm just
Because Frankenstein's not, the
thinking.
monster is not pure evil in Frankenstein. It has it doesn't have good or evil.
But,
at the
but
beginning.
Brett, we're
in
Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde, though, Dr. Jekyll is trying to separate good from evil in his natures. Therefore, he's trying to make a nature that's just evil. I mean, you can't defend that that's a good idea.
I guess I think you're right. I think the desire on my end, the desire to just, like, see it and learn from it, I think is so great. And maybe I'm doing the same thing Jekyll's doing, actually. I might be Jekyll, actually. But the desire to, like I just, like, when I read this story, I'm like, maybe it's just arrogance, actually. Because I read the story and I'm like, but, like humanity, there's a way to do this correctly, and we could do this correctly, and we could learn from it, and he didn't, and that's a shame. And that's why I keep bringing it back to Frankenstein, because I think like, many times throughout that whole book, I was like, oh, like, he could have done it right, and it could have been such a medical asset, but he didn't, and that's a shame. But I think, like, it could have been done right. And so, like, every time I read a book like this, I'm like, oh, like, wait, like, almost. Like, he did the hard part. He figured out how to make it alive.
I am so glad that so much of this is science fiction.
I think he's off his rocker a little bit.
Yeah, because
Maybe I'm crazy.
You're
Maybe.
telling me that you think it's okay to try and
No.
separate man's good and evil? You said he could. How do you do that right?
Okay, I just think it could be used for good.
How?
I mean, Jekyll and Hyde is a harder situation, admittedly.
Oh, yeah. Right, but
we're talking about Jekyll and
less.
Hyde.
I'm much less right, but it's kind of along the same.
But in the
lines.
idea of the scientism
At
of this,
least with Frankenstein, I think it could have been done right.
geared
I agree with
towards-
that.
Okay, that's all I'm. That's fundamentally that's what I'm saying.
That's fascinating because I don't know. Even with Frankenstein, I don't think that's.
Well, the thing is, he is trying to create life, and that in and of itself is not of us to do. That's wrong.
Which
Yeah.
may be true. Maybe I'm
but
not
you can-
well read enough.
You can think
to
about plenty of modern
understand
medicine
this.
that, like,
Well, like cloning
a
and
respirator.
well, no, hold on. No, I'm talking about, like, if somebody is going to die, You can give them medicine that
sure,
will
but
But
prevent
that's not
animating.
creating life. That's preventing death.
Okay.
Those are
Yeah,
different
okay,
things.
okay.
Like they, in
That's a
the
good
medical field, they've been able to do, with CRISPR and all that stuff, editing gene codes before a baby is developed or whatever to remove a genetic disease or something. They're learning how to do that, and it's a big ethics question
That is
of
big,
whether or
right?
not
Massive.
whether or not that's okay to before a baby's born to edit out all the genetic defect.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just, I think,
And sorry. Let me
Go
just
ahead,
say,
go ahead.
and while I understand the desire for something good there, right? Like we're trying to prevent disease. I think there is an underlying hubris that's what gets us in trouble with this knowledge.
I agree.
It's not like, it's the idea of like, we develop a new chemical and we're going to spray it on all of our lands because it's going to solve this one problem. Well, you don't know what other 10 problems it's going to create, right? And there's a humility, I think, in our approach to the world, which is what science just us trying to understand the world, that actually keeps us much safer if we take that aspect of humility. That's where I was getting at. Now we are way over time.
Yeah, we are.
And we haven't even gotten to our last question.
Last two
we
questions.
haven't even got
almost.
to our last two questions,
Well-
and we wanted to talk about what we missed.
Yeah, well, I think we did argue about, is it true in whole or in part? I think we've covered a lot of that.
Good enough.
Did it move you? Did you like it? I think that's evident. I'm going to just jump through that one because
I enjoyed it.
I liked it.
Interesting,
Yeah.
thought
I would
provoking.
say I didn't think I understood it that well, but this conversation has definitely helped with
Well, and
that.
that's why we're here, right? Like it's in the conversation because there were things that you said that I was like, wait, I didn't see it. But then you go back and look at the text. Very helpful. What have we missed? What could we have talked about?
I feel bad because we were talking about the body reflecting the soul at the very beginning, and I moved us.
You moved us on.
Once the minute I made that comment, I was like, "Oh shoot, we're not getting back to this."
Yeah.
So I'll say I think
Okay.
that could have been a
Yeah.
good conversation.
I think
I agree with
there was an interesting part where he talked about the self and how Mr. Hyde is all selfish. I think we could have talked about that. There's a little bit there, but I think we addressed some good stuff too.
Okay.
I think we also could have talked about Mr. Utterson a little more, especially. I mean, at the beginning, I think it says something eminently human beaconed from his eye, and I think that relates to Hyde's inhumanity. I think you can compare and contrast there a little. I don't know. That was just that's just a thought I had.
I thought the fact that everyone was either a lawyer or a doctor in this book, just about. I mean, Guest was a head clerk, but everyone was like had
There's
a
like
reason
three
based
characters.
profession. Well, but it's interesting they're all.
Yeah.
In my opinion, maybe it's a.
that they should have been smart enough to avoid something like this.
Well, I just think it's interesting that they all make their living based on their own reason and their own intellectual prowess. Which maybe that's maybe there's nothing there, and
We
I'm
could have talked about
reading
it,
into
though.
it too much. But you might look into it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's a fascinating read. It's been a fascinating discussion.
Good talk.
It's a good read too.
It's
not
quicker
long.
than you would think. Yeah.
It's easy. It moves quick. You don't really get into the meat of what he's actually talking
Yeah.
about until page 65 and on.
Nothing happens
but
until the last chapter.
once he
It's
starts
all plot.
connecting stuff, it really ties together well.
It kind of, you're not sure where it's going until you get when everything starts coming together.
Yep.
Next time we are going to be reading a Flannery O'Connor short story, Good Country People. And for those of you that have not read Flannery O'Connor, buckle up. And she's
Us.
It's us, yeah.
an author that I love, but I also have people that I highly respect in my life that don't understand her at all. And they don't get why she's attractive and what she's trying to do. So I think, but it's shocking. And it'll be shocking enough, I think, to create a conversation like this.
Sounds good.
Join us next time.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Margin Notes. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know by liking this video or sharing it with a friend. And if you're not already, subscribe to the channel to stay in the loop when we post new videos. We're so glad you were here. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.